Hello, and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're going to be talking about Evil Dead 2. Yay! I'm a big Bruce Campbell fan, well, as is Meg, but I'm excited about this one. How about you?
I'm very excited. I feel like for the last episodes, it's just me, talking about hot guys the whole time.
So get ready, it's gonna switch.
Yeah, I'm excited that it's gonna be your turn now.
I will be obnoxiously... just so many of my notes are written in all caps and say, hottie!
So the tables have turned.
Yes. Or the
turns have tabled.
And Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. Office reference for those of you keeping count. So I am staying overnight at Meg's house, and last night, can I tell you what happened when I went to bed?
Yeah, I'm scared.
It is a little scary. So I went in to the guest bedroom, and I flipped on the light, and that's important because I think it's what attracted whatever was happening.
Okay.
A shadow demon? No. And then all of a sudden there's a window. And is this window, tell me this, is the guest bedroom window, you have to climb upstairs to get to it, but
yeah.
Can somebody reach it?
Yes. So I live on a hill, and so the guest bedroom is on the second floor, but when you actually look out the window, it's actually ground level.
So, which is kind of scary, because I think I remembered that, so it could have been a person, but something started tapping on the window. It was like tap, 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 tap. But it was like a knocking. It was loud. So my theory is that it was a big moth, I hope. But I did the horror movie thing, you guys. I was I had my hand on the string and I was ready to open it and see what it was. I was going to investigate the sound.
Yeah, I mean, so you were asking to be murdered, basically.
Right?
Yeah,
then I was like, no, I can't do that. So I just turned off the light, the tapping stopped, and I went to bed. But that's scary, right?
I mean, that is terrifying that there was tapping and that you just turned off the light and crawled into the covers.
Well, I'm safe under a blanket, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I do have bats around here, so it could have been a bat.
But bats wouldn't be attracted to light because they're blind, right?
Are they just attracted to the smell of your blood?
Oh my god. Are there any bat experts out there that could tell me, was it a bat?
Yeah. Do bats care if a light gets turned on? I mean, you're right, they're deaf. I mean, not deaf, blind.
Yeah. I don't know.
We don't know. But something... You're going to be here again tonight.
Oh my god, yes.
So what if it taps again?
Well, then you may never hear from me again. This may be my last broadcast.
Okay. All right, so I have a question for you.
Yes.
And I get this question asked to me all the time. Constantly. And I never feel like I have a satisfying answer. So I'm hoping that you can help me have a satisfying answer, and also I'm curious what you have to say. So I was at a event the other day, and somebody there came up to me and said, why? Why do you like scary stuff? Why do you write horror? What is it about it that, fascinates you? Why horror? Why do you write it? And so I always kind of hum and haw, and I don't really know what to say, and because to me it's well, what do you mean why? Because it's cool, and and I've developed this thing where I say, well, I really like how it tests the characters, but when it comes to why do I like horror, what would your answer be?
Gosh, it's a hard question. I haven't really thought about why I like horror. I mean, I know when I was introduced to it and knew that I liked it right away, but actually thinking why I like it, I guess it makes me feel something that I don't feel in everyday life, and maybe that's a good thing because I'm not constantly terrified.
Yeah.
And it gets that adrenaline pumping, and that it makes me think. I mean, a great drama is good, and in a comedy I like to laugh and all of that, but horror, I guess I like the way it makes me feel.
Okay, I like that answer. I think that if I was selling romance novels, I feel like I wouldn't be asked why are you writing romance?
Right?
Why? And it's no different.
I wonder if men are asked the same question why they write horror.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Male writers, if you want to let us know. Are you asked that question?
Yeah, I would be curious to know. And also if you just are tuning in because you like to watch horror and that you grew up watching horror, why, when you were a little kid, do you think that you were attracted to horror? Why do you think, your 5-year-old self or your 8-year-old self was like, yes, I want to look at this when other kids were looking away? I would just be curious to know.
I think I was in first grade, and it was Halloween, and I said to my dad, like, we were out trick-or-treating, I'm like, Dad, why can't Halloween be real? Like, why can't the monsters really be running around right now? Like, I wanted that to be real.
I know.
Which is kind of creepy, but
no,
I just loved it so
too.
much.
Yeah, I was that kid too, where it was like, I was just fascinated and drawn to it.
I loved it too. So, can we talk about Evil Dead 2?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about when we first saw this movie. I saw this movie... Okay, so a little bit of history. The first Evil Dead movie came out, of course, it was made in the late 70s, didn't come out till 80. And then Evil Dead 2 had more promotion, and so that's... And it was on VHS very accessibly. And so that's how I saw it. I saw it in junior high, I think, or just getting into high school on VHS. When did you see it?
I didn't see it until you showed it to me.
Oh.
I had seen Evil Dead and Army of Darkness when I was younger, but I had never seen Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like a grown-up or a like late teen.
So my Evil Dead 2 fascination began, also my fascination with Bruce Campbell, because he's a hottie in this movie, right?
He's so hot. Like, his chest hair game is on point.
And everything is on point for Bruce Campbell in this movie. And then you watched Briscoe.
Yes, that was my actual first exposure to Bruce Campbell. And I've told Kelly this. I had been like that little girl who, like, I had crushes on, cute boys. But when I saw a print ad for Briscoe County Jr. and I saw Bruce Campbell up on that horse, like, that was the first time I felt like, man! Yeah. Like, I was like, he is a man, and I like it! So, yes, I did. It only lasted a season, but I love that show.
So disappointing. And the ending is a cliffhanger, and so disappointing.
Yes.
But, okay, so Evil Dead 2. It was released in 1987. It's a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I saw that. That's really cool.
It had a budget of $3.6 million, and at the box office it took in $5.9 million. It was filmed in Michigan, which is their home state, and North Carolina. And it's also number 19 on Entertainment Weekly's top 50 cult films. So
when you were saying, did you watch them in order then? Like when
No.
No.
I saw Evil Dead 2 first.
Okay.
And then went back and found Evil Dead eventually, and then Army of Darkness.
Okay.
And so, if fans of the trilogy know, Evil Dead 2 sort of recaps Evil Dead 1, cuts out some characters and everything, just to get everybody up to speed in the trilogy.
How did you feel about that? Like, how they kind of changed it in the beginning of Evil Dead 2, and they kind of took out characters. And then...
I guess since I saw them in that, with 2, 1, 3, that order,
Yeah.
it didn't bother me.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if I was a purist, I'd be like, no. But since I saw it in that order, I feel okay about it.
Yeah, I think sometimes in order to make a good film and worry about the film you're making at the moment, it's okay to do something like that, where it's like they couldn't, and I think, if I remember right from reading in If Chins Could Kill, which is a book by Bruce Campbell, which, by the way, is a great book about just filmmaking, starting out filmmaking. Not like the Hollywood scene, but like actually just home
putting
filmmaking.
in the hard work.
Yeah. He talked about, I think they didn't even have the rights to Evil Dead, so they couldn't even use the clips from the first one, I think.
Right.
So that was kind of part of the problem. But anyway, it threw me off a little bit, but then it's like, fine, whatever.
Yeah. This is also, I should mention, directed by Sam Raimi, who is now famous, and he directed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. He directed that Oz movie. What was it called?
With James Franco?
Yeah. Well, was it just called Oz?
No.
The Great and Powerful Oz?
The Great and Powerful Oz,
Okay.
I think.
And then, he's famous.
He produces a lot of horror
Yeah.
movies, right? Mm-hmm.
So, it's great. The first thing I wrote is Bruce Campbell is a hottie. I underlined it twice and wrote it in all caps. And then I wrote, the very next thing I wrote is Linda's waist is tiny. Did you see how tiny she is?
Yeah. Is that an actress that Is she anybody? Okay. Yeah, she was a tiny, tiny little woman. Yes, she is. Oh, I just want to share something really quick. I was looking through, the past of Evil Dead 2 and sort of the production, and apparently, and I saw an article about this just the other day, how Stephen King, quote unquote, like saved Evil Dead 2.
Yes, because he saw it and they could use this quote in promotion, right?
Right. Well, they did that, and also, so apparently, Stephen King was having dinner, with all these Hollywood types, and he had loved the first Evil Dead, and he heard that the Evil Dead sequel was having trouble getting funding. So he actually talked to De Laurentiis, is that how you say it? And he convinced them to fund it.
Awesome.
So apparently, there's a Stephen King connection to Evil Dead.
Very nice. I have to go back to Linda. He gives her, and it's in the first movie too, but it's in this Evil Dead 2, the magnifying glass necklace, which is just so funny. And they knew that they needed a magnifying glass because for plot they needed it to start a fire with.
Oh, sure, I didn't even think of that.
So then it's kind of silly and over the top. But I have made some Evil Dead 2 like magnifying glass necklaces on my Gothic Gifts. So if anybody wants one for yourself or somebody you love,
okay, I have to go check.
You have to check out my Gothic Gifts on Etsy.
Cute, good.
It's thinking. They're really funny. And you'll find other Evil Dead fans that way too.
Yes, wear that necklace and find out who the true horror fans are.
Just don't start any fires with them like Ash does.
Unless you are stranded in the forest, it could save a life.
Hey,
Kelly, your necklace could save someone's life.
Okay, this is good. Or help somebody read some fine print.
That too.
The reel-to-reel machine is great. I wonder if some people even know what that is anymore.
I don't know.
In the cabin they are recording on reel-to-reel. And then I have a little personal story. I put this on YouTube, but I met Bruce Campbell and his family, actually, when he was appearing on stage in a Western. It's the adaptation of Shane. And before the play started, I saw his dad, and I recognized his dad.
Wait. How did you recognize his dad?
Because fans know that he is in Army of Darkness, like a certain soldier that gets killed.
Oh.
And so then another guy that I met there, he's like, oh, that's Bruce Campbell's dad, like, for sure. Okay, so we went over and we said hello, and we asked for their autographs, and we got our picture taken with them, so that's all on YouTube. But his dad, Bruce Campbell's dad, gave me a little insight into Sam Raimi. He was talking about Sam Raimi coming over, and this is an exclusive to Horror Rewind, everyone. You've heard it here. He said, that Sam Raimi, he used to eat all of our peanut butter. So
if you see Sam Raimi, buy him a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. But that's according to Bruce Campbell's dad. And then he said he used to eat all the peanut butter in the house. He talked about the Coen brothers coming over to visit, and then he also was nervous for Bruce. That this was the night they were seeing the play for the first time. And he said, oh, live theater is tough. I've done some live theater. And he said, what's Bruce going to do if a horse throws up? He just has to keep going. And it was just so funny, that his point of reference for something going wrong was a horse throwing up. And there were live horses in the show. It was a 3-acre stage, so they actually rode horses in, so it was very reminiscent of Briscoe.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad I wasn't there. I would have made a fool of myself.
I think I probably did, but, whatever. And, it was so amazing. So I just had to share that little personal story.
Oh, I love that.
And coming back to Bruce Campbell's book, this entire movie and this franchise is like an aspiring filmmaker's dream, because they were just some high school friends who made little movies. They made a mini movie, and then they turned it into Evil Dead, extended it, and then Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, and now they're all quote-unquote famous and doing what they love.
Yeah, doing what they love. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys should read that book, If Chins Could Kill, because it's actually kind of like a roadmap of what to do in that situation. If you want to be a filmmaker and you have no money and no contacts and you're not famous at all and you're living in Michigan, it's just a great, great book.
One of the stories they share is that they just went and asked, they're like, who's rich? Dentists. So they just went to some dental office and be like, hey, would you, put in $10,000 for this movie?
Yes, I remember
and just,
that.
They really worked hard. Everybody in the movie, and I'm referring now when they're cutting to the other people coming in off the plane.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's so early. I say early 80s. I guess it's 87. But, they just look so 80s.
It's so 80s. I have to say, with this movie, it's like, Bruce is his performance is so wonderful and so captivating that I could, like, the other people, I just don't care.
Right.
Like in comparison, it's like you've got Bruce Campbell, and then you've just got these like
randoms.
It's like, and you are appreciative that they're there to be the meat,
right?
Because you know somebody's gonna die.
Somebody's gonna die.
Not Bruce. I could watch Evil Dead 2, just 2 hours of him.
Oh yeah,
in that cabin without anyone.
Exactly. He totally sells it, and the physical comedy is hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Like this is the nice balance of horror and comedy in this movie, and he does the stuff with the hand. It's all. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is like a masterclass.
Yeah.
On comedy and reacting, and he's hilarious. And just everything is so extra. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Everything's just over the top.
The amount of blood.
Yeah.
Is great. And yeah, his acting.
Everything. And I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
And so I just feel #blessed that we get Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like, I don't even know what we did to deserve this on TV every week.
Yeah,
but
I don't either.
I'm very thankful.
Go ahead.
The Sam Raimi trademark fast cuts and the zooms and fast cuts and everything. I'm way ahead in the movie now because I was just watching, like, fanning myself, and then he puts on that chainsaw for the first time and says groovy. Like,
best.
Oh.
Best. You guys, Kelly's gushing right now. You should see her. She's just radiating. Yeah, I actually wrote down that you could see the jump from Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2, like, Sam Raimi's craft.
Oh, yeah.
And Bruce Campbell, too. But when you're watching, you're just like, wow, you really start to see him as a filmmaker, like, flourish, you know?
And the little tricks that they did, they put they mounted a camera on a board, and 2 guys ran with it. Mm-hmm. You know, to make the evil coming through the woods and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's good, it's cheap, good filmmaking. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. So, what I think was kind of a cool thing about the Evil Dead world is it's such a formidable foe. It's not a slasher who can just, be killed.
It's not a zombie where you know how to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know how to take care of it. It's that it affects everyone and everything around you. And I just think that it makes for such a different and unique experience, and it just allows Bruce Campbell to just
flourish
too. Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, like, his reactions to things are so amazing. Like I said, I could just watch 2 hours of him in the cabin, like, experiencing the Evil Dead.
Yes. And that's the other thing. It, like you were saying, it affects everybody. It does turn people into demons, and even turns him into a demon for a while, but he beats it because he remembers Linda.
Oh, is that what does it? Is it remembering Linda?
He sees the necklace.
Oh, right. Oh. Now, is he hot when he's demon Ash?
Well.
We have to draw the line.
Yeah. I love it. Speaking of being extra, the eyeball shooting into that woman's mouth. And just Henrietta in the basement.
Oh my gosh, Henrietta. Oh my gosh.
Everything is over the top and wonderful.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, I have said this about Ash vs. Evil Dead before, and I know we're going to talk about it again, but I feel like they really perfected the horror comedy genre, because some shows and some movies really try, and then they get the tone wrong, and it comes off as not funny at all, or it's funny and not scary,
There's so many like that where, the tone is weird, and also they're not scary.
Yeah. And
I think that's where they focus too much on, like, being funny and then lose the horror, but that is not the case in Evil Dead 2. What do you think? I remember Bruce Campbell when we went to a convention where he was, and he was speaking, and he said he can tell a lot about a person about which one is their favorite.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
He said people who like the first one the best are, like, the gore hounds, like, the really horror focused people. He said people who like the second one are, like, wacky and crazy people. And then I can't remember what he said about Army of Darkness.
Okay.
I was hoping you would remember.
I don't. I mean, I think sometimes when he's talking, it's like my eyes turn to hearts, and there's, like, a bubble over my head, a vision of he and I running off together on a beach or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. No,
or Jacksonville, Florida.
I understand. Oh, since you shared a personal story, I was going to share a story about when I met Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
And we started talking, and I wanted to ask him a question that maybe he didn't get asked very much. And I had just got engaged. So I said, very nervously, I was like, do you have any advice for me? I'm going to be getting married. And do you remember he talked for like a long time?
It was so, and it was
so sweet.
It was honest, and he was actually answering.
So honest and so sweet, and we just had a really good conversation. And the thing that he said that really stuck in my head, and I will think about it when I'm having, one of those marriage moments, and I'll think, Bruce Campbell told me. He said, don't bullshit each other. That was his advice.
I remember that.
And he was like, you'll know when you're bullshitting your husband. Just, when you're doing it, just stop and say, don't do this. And so I'll have these moments where I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. And Bruce Campbell told me not to.
Yes, and so, it's all about honesty. And if you think about, I'm a communication teacher, and it's all, if you're honest with each other, then you're communicating.
Yes, exactly. So it was really good marriage advice, and it's cool that, I'll have a vision of him when I'm about to have a fight. I'm like, no, Bruce Campbell said no.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. What else do you have about notes about the movie?
One thing I wrote was just the great part where she accidentally okay, I'm sorry, I don't know people's names.
It's okay.
Yellow shirt.
Yeah.
The one who gets the eyeball in her mouth, right? Is she the one?
No, she's not. It's
who's the one who gets the eyeball in her mouth?
The girl.
Oh, the hick girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm reducing everyone to stereotypes. But anyway, the other girl, she is closing the door. She accidentally kills this guy. Yes.
Bobby Joe is that other girl's name. Sorry.
Bobby Joe is the other girl?
Is the hit girl.
Right, name fits. Okay, so she accidentally kills this guy. She doesn't really freak out that much. Like, I felt like on the level of you accidentally killed a human being.
Oh, right.
Like, she was just like, oh well. And then he falls, and she's trying to close the door on him, and that part was so funny, because she's trying to save her own ass,
right.
And this guy is in the way. Him. Yeah, it was great. Yes.
They got the tone right. It's perfect.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I love it. What else? I don't want to...
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking. Okay. Well, what do you think? What do you think about the difference of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2? Do you think that it really is a true sequel? Do you think that it's something entirely different?
I feel like it's a mashup.
Okay.
And which is okay, in my opinion. I don't think that it's actually a true sequel, because they did sort of change the plot when they did the recap, in quotes, for Evil Dead 2, but it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Maybe because of the order I watched them, or maybe because I know the story.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe because Bruce Campbell's so hot. No, I'll stop.
No, please, because it's all me all the time, and I just want everyone to know it's not only me.
Right.
And then what do you think about Army of Darkness?
I love Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I do. First of all, the ending of Evil Dead 2, he's going through the portal, and he's going back in time. Did you notice, like, there's some Christmas lights sort of in the portal?
Yes.
And I was thinking he's going through the Upside Down.
Oh!
Like Stranger Things, because of the Christmas lights. But he goes back, and then Army of Darkness is more comedy than horror, I would say. But it's still lovable and laughable, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I feel like Army of Darkness, I wouldn't even call a horror movie.
Right.
But I don't know what you'd call it, though.
Right.
But, yeah.
I guess comedy horror, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I think Evil Dead 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see why. I actually watched it, like, a year ago.
Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, Evil Dead 2. I'd only seen it maybe even just once before then, and I was like, I haven't seen Evil Dead 2 very many times, and so, yeah, about a year ago I watched it. So it was kind of fun this time, because I got to pick up on even more little things.
Right.
And the hand giving him the middle finger.
Yes. And then he puts him under the trash can, and Farewell to Arms.
Yes,
the book on
Farewell
top.
to Arms. Yeah, I noticed that. What else? What are some other funny parts?
Well, when he thinks he hears something in the wall, or he hears the hand or whatever, and he's just basically shooting the place up.
Yes.
Those fast cuts, again, Sam Raimi does it a lot, of everybody looking to different sounds and then zooming in.
Oh,
that's just brilliant.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He does that a bit in the Spider-Man movies, too.
And it's done so effectively so that you're scared. Even though Bruce Campbell is funny and there's some lighthearted stuff going on, I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was putting myself in the position of the characters and like being like, oh my gosh, what if I was in that situation? And it's like, it feels like, unlike some horror movies where it feels like maybe you could get away or something, I just feel like how do you get away?
I know, and like when he's trapped in the cellar with that thing, that's creepy.
Oh my gosh, it is. What do you think about the special effects?
I mean, they're not perfect, but I think they work.
Yeah.
Because they commit to them.
They commit to them. There is the headless Linda, right?
Right.
Going around dancing. She's
Yeah.
doing a full-on dance. They didn't have to do that, but they're like, you know what, we're going to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, CGI has come so much further now, but if you can forgive some of that stuff, it's still enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay, let me ask you our questions. Did it live up to your memories of it?
Yes, but this is sort of like ingrained in my brain kind of movie,
Yeah.
So yes, I guess because I've watched more recent Bruce Campbell lately, I guess I remembered why I fell in love with him.
Her face, you guys. She really does have hard eyes.
Okay.
Okay, did any scene stand out to you in the rewatch?
Oh, the scene, I mentioned it already, but when he is in that shed and he's getting ready and he gets that chainsaw hooked up and he says groovy.
Straps that chainsaw.
And then he's like, let's go.
Oh, yeah, baby. Was there anything you didn't remember?
I guess I didn't remember how over the top some of the comedy was, but
Okay.
it's perfect.
Yeah. Did it pass the Bechdel test?
You know what? I'm terrible because I didn't even think about it.
I wasn't thinking about it either.
It doesn't.
It doesn't, though.
Wait, no, that woman and Bobby Joe must talk, right?
There's two women in it.
And Henrietta in the basement, right?
Henrietta.
See, my feminism gets thrown out the window when Bruce Campbell's around. I'm like, I don't care!
What is it still, and was it ever scary?
Yes and yes.
Okay. That was easy. Hey, guess what, Kelly?
What?
This is our first sponsored episode
Yay!
of Horror Rewind.
Congratulations.
Yay! And we're sponsored by an author named Krista Street.
Oh.
So
What does she write?
She writes, it looks like a paranormal romance.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And her second book in her Lost Children trilogy is out now on Amazon.
Oh.
And I'm going to read the description of
Okay.
her first book, okay? And then you tell me what you think. I thought I was alone. Nobody else had a forgotten past, mysterious tattooed symbol, and extrasensory ability. Then I found others like me in a small Colorado town, others with broken memories and strange gifts. Among them, the dark-eyed man I'm inexplicably drawn to. When I'm with him, my body remembers what my mind cannot. But as much as I crave his touch and presence, there's a restlessness inside me I can't ignore. I need to know what happened to me.
Okay, I need to know more. And I was closing my eyes and picturing me as that person and the dark-eyed stranger as Bruce Campbell.
I was coming. Okay, perfect. I don't think she doesn't say you can't picture Bruce Campbell when you're reading this, so I think it's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Amazon right now and get a copy because I need to know more.
Yes. Oh, and find Krista on Facebook, and you can find her on Twitter. And she has her website, www.kristastreet.com, so check her out.
Hey, if you want to be a sponsor for a Horror Rewind episode, just email us at horrorrewindpodcast@gmail.com.
Hi friends, Lisa here, Horror Rewind time, and today I would like to make with you what I'd like to call the Chainsaw Cheershine for our episode of Evil Dead 2. For this, as we all know, I am afraid of these things, so I like to research first as to if I make it to watching them, not be as afraid and know it's coming. But for this, I decided to start with a few of these ingredients because of the film's location. It was filmed in North Carolina. That's where I started in my research, and in doing so, I found a little staple of North Carolina to be cheerwine. It is, if you think of if Cherry Cola and Dr. Pepper made a baby, this is what it would be. So in the event that you can't find cheerwine, because it is absolutely not everywhere, I took a train to Brooklyn, and that might not mean much to you. It was a really long ride. So I did that for you. You can buy it at World Market, Cost Plus World Market, whatever. You can find it there, other places, whatever. Or get some cherry cola and some Dr. Pepper and make a baby with the soda or your own, whatever. Anyway, let's make a drink, shall we? So we're starting with the cheer wine. We're gonna do some moonshine because we're in North Carolina. We're in the hills, we're in the forest, we're going to a cabin. We should probably have some moonshine. We're gonna do that. We're gonna need this much basil, however that much is to you. 1 big leaf, 1 baby leaf, 1 mama leaf, ta-da. And you're gonna need 2 lemon wedges, rounds, 2 rounds. And finally, 1 rocks glass filled with ice. This is an easy one this week, guys. It's pretty exciting. We are going to start with our basil leaves. Some real science. We're gonna tear it apart. We're gonna tear it nervously like some undead thing is trying to make you undead and come up out of the basement. That was awful. That movie was very scary. Mom, Martha, whatever her name was, and her big legs. I didn't like it. There we go. Basil. And now we're going to take one of the thicker rounds of lemon. I need you to just squish all the juice out. All of it. If you don't, trust me, this drink needs it. It needs this good juice to round out the flavors. Juice, juice, juice. Always enjoy what you do. I think it's very important. And wear things you can wipe your hands on. That aren't your husband's shirt because he might get upset. Open up your moonshine. You can find some from North Carolina. Yes. If not, whatever. This one's in a mason jar, so I believe it's legit. I am going to use, this is what comes on the top typically of your shaker. It's about a 1 ounce exact measuring cup. If you don't have one of these, just grab a shot glass. We're gonna take 1 full one. Plonk. And we're gonna take half. Plonk. Get it all in there. And now as we continue to build our bar together, we have moonshine added. And finally, let's go ahead. You can see the condensation. It's about 120 degrees here in New York. Yes. Popped. Let's top this baby off. Oh, it sounds nice. I'm a fan of straws. Just get yourself a straw. You can cut it down to make it fit into this nice little rocks glass. You're gonna want to stir this, otherwise just gonna get one flavor. And not gonna lie, moonshine can be rough alone. It's something I think you work up to. Give that a nice stir. Cheers. Enjoy. See you next time.
It's time for our fast forward segment. Meg, what are you going to talk about?
Well, I think everybody knows what I'm going to talk about, and I'm not prepared. I didn't take any notes because all I'm going to do is just gush for a couple minutes about Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Okay, do you know how I know, and I'm not being entirely serious here, but do you know how I know that I control the universe?
How?
Because Ash vs. Evil Dead is on TV, and one of the main characters' names is Kelly. So I get to hear Bruce Campbell say my name.
That was my first thought when the first episode started, and it was like, I didn't know before that her name was going to be Kelly, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, but also, P.S., it's a good show.
It is an amazing show. I mean, and our expectations were high.
Yeah.
It has had 2 seasons, right? The 3rd season will be coming. I'm assuming it's coming out in October again.
Yeah.
I really should have Googled this, guys.
No,
Sorry.
they haven't released the date yet.
Okay, they haven't released the date yet. Okay, so there's Kelly, there's Pablo, there's Ash. Those are our main characters, and it's great. Ash is like this. It's wonderful because we get to see what he would be like older.
Yeah, years later.
And he's so vain and puffed up, and he's just like, how would you describe him?
Well, he's hilarious, and he's so full of himself, and he doesn't give a crap, but he does.
But he does, you guys. He has a heart in there.
So the cool thing about this, of course, perfection of horror and comedy, but also it makes me feel things besides being hot for Bruce Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's some episodes when I actually teared up. because
Oh my
it's
gosh.
so heartfelt and
Yes.
wonderful. Some of the stuff is really creepy, like that demon thing. I'm not going to give anything away because you
yes.
need to watch this. And you care about the people.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, you care. Like, Pablo and Kelly are so cute.
Yeah.
They're cute little, like, will they, won't they. And but she's, like, this badass. Like, she's amazing. I love her.
And Lucy Lawless is in it, and she's amazing, too.
Yes, she's in it. And, you guys, if you're not watching it, like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, you have to watch it. Is it on anything other than Starz?
I don't know. That's the problem. Well, I think it's available on DVD or Blu-ray, right?
Okay, yeah.
Or probably you can buy it on
should
iTunes,
be. It should
or
be.
something.
What else about this show? There was a episode this last season that was so over the top crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Ashy Slashy?
Well, no, that one.
Oh, okay.
There is one with an Ash puppet, which, by the way, if anybody wants to give me an Ash puppet,
well,
like,
they're going to be
I would love
shipping.
it.
They're shipping in July, so they're probably
oh my
shipping
gosh.
now.
Oh my god!
And
I want
they're
one.
$49.99 on Toy Wiz. So
oh
yes.
my gosh, I want one. Wow, Kelly, you're up on that.
Oh, believe me, I've been following.
No, I'm thinking the episode with the dead body. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Okay, it is so over the top. My husband watches this show with me, and he's very, like, particular about what horror he watches, but he loves this show. And there's this one episode. It's so funny and so, I mean, shocking, even for us. Yeah, you guys, you have to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's so good.
And also, I know Bruce Campbell has his third book coming out
Oh.
pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
And he is going to be at Walker Stalker in Atlanta.
Oh!
And we might be there. So I'm going to go get my book signed by him
my
and
gosh.
gush a little as I do. But you know what? I totally play it cool when I talk to him. I just need to say
I have
that.
seen you interact with him, and you are cool. Like,
I don't act like this.
We won't tell him about this podcast.
No. Oh, he'll tune in and then he'll get his restraining order.
Yeah.
Speaking of restraining order, no.
Yeah. No, yes.
My son, my 10-year-old, is named Campbell, inspired
Yes.
by Bruce Campbell. And a few years ago, Bruce Campbell was going to be at Wizard World Comic-Con in Chicago. So I thought, this is perfect. I'll introduce Campbell to the man he was named after. And he got to meet him, and it was really cool because we got the VIP passes, but we were kind of far back in the line to get the autograph. And so, like, Bruce Campbell's person was walking around, and Campbell was kind of jumping up and down in line, and he's like, hey buddy, are you excited? And Campbell's like, yeah. And I said, his name is Campbell, and he's named after Bruce Campbell, so he's excited to meet him. And the guy immediately, like, took down the little rope and was like, come with me. And he brought us to the front of the line, and then Bruce hadn't even come out yet, and then Bruce came out, and he's like, first thing, he's like, I've got a very special person for you to meet, to Bruce.
My gosh.
And Campbell went up there, he got to meet him first, and he talked to him, and it was so sweet. And then he said, how do you spell your name? And just like yours.
Aww.
It was so nice. And then we got out of line. It was really cool. He got his autograph picture. And then we went to do the photo shoot with him, and he remembered him, thankfully. I mean, you never know after he's signed 300 autographs.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Campbell, come over here. And he set up the photo for the two of them.
Oh.
And he knelt down, and he's like, here, we're going to cross our arms, and we're going to look over here very serious. And I've posted the picture on our Instagram if you're a fan.
It's so sweet. It's like the perfect picture.
But it's like epic, and it's wonderful, and it's hanging on my wall, and I will cherish it forever.
And I think the moral of the story is Bruce Campbell's so sweet.
Yes, he is. He's so
Yes.
nice, and he's funny, and if you've ever seen him live at an appearance, he will give it back to the crowd. Like, if somebody's drunk and belligerent, he will make fun of you until you die.
Yes.
Like, it's hilarious.
I remember him taking somebody's cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. So if you happen to see that he's going to be in your town for a book signing, go and meet him. You will not regret it.
It's worth it. He makes you feel like I said with that whole story about him and the marriage advice, like, he made me feel for that moment like I was the only person for that 2 minutes, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah. Amazing.
Another Bruce Campbell thing I want to bring up, in case anybody hasn't seen it, is Bubba Hotep.
Oh, yes. Talk about this.
So Bubba Hotep is this movie that we actually got to see the Midwest premiere of in Chicago in 2002, because he premiered it at this Flashback Weekend.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Flashback Weekend in Chicago. And it sounds really strange. The premise is Bruce Campbell is Elvis, who is still alive, but he's living in a nursing home. And then a mummy comes, and
and by the way, Elvis, like, he, as far as everyone knows, he's dead, like,
right.
in this world, like, normal, but he's been, like, living this, like, covert life for the last couple decades, but now he's, like, literally in a nursing home, and of course they age up Bruce Campbell, and he, you know, needs help going to the bathroom, and, like, it's just this really bizarre thing.
But it works, and it's got excellent reviews. Ossie Davis is in it as his partner in crime, and it's hilarious and wonderful.
Gosh. It's such a good horror movie. It's so different. It's just what you hope for in an indie horror movie.
Yeah. And then, of course, another movie you have to check out is the Bruce Campbell movie, My Name is Bruce. And if you haven't seen this, it's Bruce Campbell as himself, and this town hires Bruce Campbell to come fight evil for them.
Which, I mean, if you had to hire somebody...
Oh, yeah. Done.
I can just imagine Kelly.
She didn't even finish her sentence. I'm like, done.
Done. I feel like this would be like the Crying Wolf situation where you keep telling Bruce Campbell that there's evil in your town.
I need help again. I'd be like, oh my god. So, we have to do our rankings.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Kelly, if you were not here, nothing would ever get ranked.
I don't know if people care to hear our rankings,
no,
but
they do.
We're going to do Severed Hands.
Okay, yes.
Crawling around. Out of 0 to 10, Severed Hands, 0 being you hated it, 10 being it's a perfect film. What do you rank Evil Dead 2?
I'm going to give it... I have to consider, like, what I've given.
I know, I'm not going to... I won't...
I'm, like, afraid.
I won't Ashley slash you.
Okay. I'm going to give it an 8.
I think that's fair. I would also give it an 8.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Campbell's hotness,
yes.
on the other hand, Spinal Tap 11. Okay, how about Ash vs. Evil Dead? Now, we're ranking TV.
If we're ranking TV, then I have to give Ash vs. Evil Dead a 10.
I also give it a 10.
You guys, like, it is... I told Kelly, it is like the inside of my brain. I feel like it is... the TV show I have always wanted.
I can't believe that it's on TV and we get to watch this every week. I feel like maybe I'm in a coma or having a fever dream and none of this is real because
I know.
How is this show on TV and it's so good?
I know. It's just we have too much.
I'm so thankful.
Yes.
Well, okay, if you want to sponsor an episode, make sure to email us. You can contact us also via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of our social medias. We're also on Tumblr and Pinterest. Those are kind of random, but check them out.
Yeah, check us out on there too. What else? Oh, we've got Horror Rewind t-shirts available. You can find those at the Gothic Gifts shop on Etsy. And there's also apparently some really cool mirror necklaces there too that may save your life.
Yes. And then Meg's novel is coming out this fall. And if you want to get a little bit more informed about Meg's writing and the world of Willoughby, you need to check out her 2 books of short stories. And those are available on Amazon, right?
Yes, they're available on Amazon, and you can also check my website out, meghofdahl.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.